Hello and welcome back to another on Wrestling and another edition of Smackdown Out of 10. And of course, it is a big episode of Smackdown this week because we've got Saturday night's main event coming up next weekend. So yeah, a lot happening on the show as we build up to that. So without further ado, let's get straight into things. And we open things up with the usual recap of last week and showing arrivals at the arena before he went to the ring for a promo for the American Nightmare. He spoke for a minute before McIntyre interrupted him from the crowd where Mikey questioned the crowd for cheering Cody and called the accomplices and Cody's cries. McIntyre said he needs to finish his story at Saturday night main event and denied being the one to attack Jacob Fatu last week and implied it might have been Jimmy. Rhodes tried to goad McIntyre into a fight, but before he could, Jimmy showed up and attacked him for accusing him of attacking Fatu. As the chaos was settling, so did Sikoa and the MFTs came to the ring for the first match. This was similar to the interaction Drew and Cody had in a lot of ways. Adding Jimmy to the mix helped, but not much. They did a good job getting the crowd pumped for the show, however. Moving on then to the MFTs versus Rey Fenix and Shinsuke Nakamura. Tonga and Nakamura started this tag match for their teams. They traded strikes and had a nice back and forth before men tagged out to JC Mateo and Phoenix. The babyfaces had the upper hand as the show went to break with the picture-in-picture portion. The MFTs took control, isolating Phoenix. The Luchador began to make a comeback when we returned, but the tide didn't shift until the King of Strong Style made the tag and started unloading on Mateo with kicks. The pace picked up in the second half and made this much more exciting, but it felt like it took too long to get competitors. This was just going through the motion until after the break, but once they picked up steam, it turned into a fun encounter. Sikoa distracts the ref while Tonga chokes on Phoenix on the apron, allowing him to get the running elbow for the win. I'll go at a 6 out of 10. As we then moved on to the second match of the night, which saw Kiana James take on Tiffy in a non-title bout. Julia's representative was talking a lot of trash before they locked up and Stratton put her in a rest shot. The champ maintained control with some arm drag while Julia cheered James on from ringside. James missed the moonsault from the apron, but the distraction from Julia helped her dive into Stratton's the barricade. James had the upper hand throughout the break, but Tiffy recovered to build some momentum. She scored the win with the prettiest moonsault ever. The best thing about this match was it reminded fans James is a good performer. He's had a very cheap chance to show her, but both women put in a good effort. However, the post-match angle was surprising. Julia attacked the champ, but Jade Cargill came out to save. As they were celebrating, Cargill ended up attacking Stratton, turning heel, and it took several security guards to stop her, but the damage was done. I think this is good. It feels like if we're going to do this match again, a change is very much needed, and I think this could very much work. So yeah, I'm quite excited by this. Ilya Dragunov then found Sami Zayn backstage and thanked him for the opportunity last week. Zayn told her to be careful because the open challenges can be unpredictable. The new champ came out to the ring to give a promo about his last year before issuing an open challenge, which was answered by Aleister Black and Zelina Vega accompanying him. This was the first time these two have had a singles match, wasting no time getting right to good stuff. Didn't try to ease into it, started throwing punches, chops and kicks right away. Vega took the champ down with a Hurricane Rana while Black distracted the ref, allowing the Dutch Destroyer to take control as the Shadow went to the break. The match lasted throughout 2 breaks, so there was plenty of time to work with, and they're obviously talented performers, and WWE may have found a great feud. In just 2 matches, Dragunov has physically established himself as a great wrestler on SmackDown. Vega was caught tripping Dragunov, was ejected. This was when Priest came out, and the distraction allowed the champ to hit Torpedo Moscow for the win, took his frustration out on Black. Vega saved her husband, and it went to a break. Yeah, good stuff. 8 out of 10. Set up a new feud, very interesting storylines, and a very good match. So yeah, good stuff. And we then got Jimmy Uso versus Drew McIntyre. This week's main event was an ODQ match between these two after they fought in the opening segment. Jimmy met Drew in the arm and the fight started early, but the Scottish Warrior got the upper hand as soon as they got to the ring. It didn't take long for the fight to spill back out of the ring and into the crowd. We returned from the break to see McIntyre controlling the pace until Uso sent him out of the ring with a kick to the head. Jimmy had some help from a fan running across the barricade, but he ended up jumping right into a belly suplex. This was a hard-fought match to them good spots. Uso and McIntyre are both veterans, so it wasn't surprising to see them putting on a good show. As it looked like Big Jib was about to win, McIntyre threw a chair into his face and then hit the Claymore for the win. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. A good match. Yeah, makes sense. And overall, SmackDown this week, gets a 6 out of 10. It wasn't anything special. However, the matches are good. We've got some solid storyline developments, especially with Cargill finally turning heel. A few decent tag matches, and I think obviously the Black and Dragunov match kind of really stole the show for me. So yeah, on the whole, a pretty decent episode of SmackDown.
So that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.